Hello, everybody, and welcome to M&M Sports. I'm Brett McNair. Alongside me is Killian McNulty, back for episode number 3 here on the channel. And yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we recorded our last video. Had a little bit of difficulties with YouTube, but we're good now. Everything should be set straight. But Killian, how are we doing today?
We're doing good. We've got the YouTube guidelines sorted, so we shouldn't have any more problems with that, hopefully. Today, it's going great. It's about to be a whole lot better because we're here recording. So
Exactly.
let's get after it. We'll start off open with some headlines of the week for the NBA and the basketball and kind of just sports world in general. Summer league takeaways. Have you watched any of the games that have been?
I've only watched highlights. I haven't watched like full games. I've seen obviously the big news with AJ Bonsta. He's been killing it so far. Braden Burris of the Bucks. He's been playing very well. So just kind of the main headlines. And then some of the older guys that are just kind of doing weird things. It's honestly it's a cool thing. I always like summer league. It's weird.
I enjoy watching it. I just take it all with a grain of salt because, and I bet this is different than most classes. I think we've been shown like.
That's
AJ
true,
and
yes.
Darren, their battle was great. Caleb Wilson had 35. And it wasn't like these are just out of the blue games.
And he wasn't missing either.
Right. No, shooting like crazy, which again, this is, and we'll get to my point. We'll take it with a grain of salt because I think the best summer league players that like off the top of my head I can recall ever watching. Zion, Lonzo, Kevin Knox, and Emmanuel Mudiay.
Zion for the one or half a game that he played.
Yeah, so that's why, like, and what are these people doing now? You know,
Yeah,
and
true,
I think
yes.
again, this is a very different scenario.
It definitely is
because this class is so much more talented than what these guys were doing and playing against. But great start. It's awesome. Nate Ament, I saw him dunk once. It looked cool.
Same with Ade Mara. It looks like he was actually 7 feet tall for once.
Yeah, well, so his first game I think was good, and then I just saw highlights of him putting up a stinker against somebody. I don't know, like it was just really quick, like a TikTok of him doing post moves in like 3 times speed, and it was just clank clank miss.
It was so bad. I remember looking at the stat line and watching his like the highlights of the game. And I'm like, this guy was a lottery pick. Like, it just looked like he didn't know what he was doing, and he looked really nervous. Which it's understandable. This is technically your NBA, like first NBA action,
right?
But still, at the end of the day, like you're a lottery pick, dude. Like you're there to defend Wemby when it comes down to it. And
the Wemby stopper.
Yeah.
No, give me a break. He's in, he'll be okay. He's in an OKC jersey.
That is true.
Odds are things will turn out for him. Let's see. Bam Adebayo versus Tyler Hero. Where can I watch this video of them fighting? I like how is no this video. No one has really?
The only thing that I would assume would have like actual footage of it would be like security cameras, but
you're telling me some weirdo from TMZ wasn't there just on the site filming something?
I mean, to be fair, they were at a practice court, and a lot of the times, I mean, only the NBA player themselves will post something from there because we'll take Tyler Hero. Tyler Zero, that's gonna be his stat line. No, we'll take Tyler Hero for example here. He posts a lot of his like practice stuff, like he'll do that. A lot of NBA players do that. So I just think in the situation, I'm assuming they were practicing, and then Bam was like, "Hey, you little man, you're saying bad stuff about me," and one thing led to another, and then bam, well,
literally, right?
Yes.
Well, no, sucks the huddle cam wasn't enough. But I don't know. Hopefully more develops on that later, and I can see some haymakers getting thrown.
Honestly, well, you see the face of Hero. He definitely has a little bit
clearly got some work. Like it, yeah.
And I don't know, Hero grew up from Milwaukee, so I'm assuming he did swing back. But Bam looked all right, so
I don't know.
Maybe just
I saw a TikTok of, I think it was Tyler Hero like boxing with somebody. Like he just had the gloves on.
Yeah, it was Andrew Woj.
She look bad in the Maybach truck.
No, it wasn't. It had to have been a trainer or something, but I bet he got his ass whooped. That's what that video showed me. Kawhi, the trade getting vetoed, could happen. And when it was made, initially I had thought like this probably isn't going to be done yet because there is still this investigation going on.
but it seems bigger than what it originally was. Like when we originally knew about the Kawhi thing happening, we weren't like, okay, the trade's gonna still go through. But once Shams put out that notification, it was like, okay, like let's take a step back. This might actually get vetoed in a bit.
Yeah, and I think it would be interesting if that happened because the last vetoed trade, I think, so we almost got Bogdanovich from the Kings.
Yeah, I
right?
remember that for
Um,
DiVincenzo, DJ Wilson,
and Ursan, I think.
yeah.
Crazy value back then in 2020. But the last trade that actually went through, I think that got vetoed was CP3 to the Lakers. And
Yep.
that was a different scenario. It was weird at the time because the Hornets were just coming back. I don't think they had an owner. So David Stern was like their owner technically as the commissioner of the NBA.
Yep.
So he was at when they wanted to make that trade, he was able to say no for whatever reason. Like
That would have been
something
insane.
too much. It would have been, right? But and I don't know. I don't want to have to think about that with this trade. I was hyped to see Kawhi back in Toronto.
Yeah.
So as much as I want them to crack down on the Clippers and Steve Ballmer for what they did, because that's just not okay.
No, it's not.
And it wouldn't have been allowed any other time, as we saw with the Clippers. Again, I think it was Joe Smith. It was them and the Timberwolves, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yes, and I think it. Well, I mean, to be fair, you got to look at the way the NBA is. Their players definitely talk about joining up all the time, and teams definitely. I mean, you see it all the time. Like, oh, you have Steph Curry talking to Giannis after the game, and it's like you see this all the time. But I think it goes bigger when the ownership is like actually contacting them and saying, "We're gonna sign Paul George, and we're gonna trade for Kawhi, but Paul, we're gonna trade for Kawhi. So like, you got to come to us now." And it was way too soon, and you saw right off the bat, like there's no way Kawhi Leonard's getting traded, and then the next day Paul George is signing.
Yeah, right.
It's like it just makes sense in a way where it's like, okay, obviously they were talking beforehand, so yeah.
A little. So a few things here on NBA money. I'm just gonna shoot some things at you. I want you to give me what you think. Wemby settling for his 5-year, $252 million deal instead of the 300 one, making a $50 million trade exception.
Team player. I love that.
Agree.
We don't have enough of that in the NBA anymore. It's all about the money. It seems like it's been that way ever since they adjusted the salary cap and all that, and players become more greedy, which at the end of the day, I mean, you can look at it at both sides. You either want more money or you can be a team player. And right now, Jalen Brunson did the same thing a couple years ago or last year or whatever, and they ended up winning the championship.
Right,
so if you're the Spurs, you still got a young core. You still want to build around Wemby and be able to re-sign the guys that got you to the finals in the first place. This is a great job by Wemby and the ownership and the GM and being able to get this done. So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
100% agree
and I
with
think because you can see it on the flip side, and I'm sure maybe you'll get to this a little bit when we get into the off-season early reactions. I think it's easy to see that it's hard to win with multiple supermax dudes or just even one huge contract eating up space, like with the Celtics, right? Trading Jaylen Brown away. As much as they probably didn't want to have to do that, a lot of that reasoning, I'm willing to bet, is looking at the contracts and salary and the second, third, whatever aprons that they put in, and recognizing, hey, as much as we would like to win with you, it's just not feasible right now. So
100%.
Great to see them or Wemby coming back on that so that they can go and get other talent and win, like we just saw, like you said, with Brunson doing that.
Exactly. And even then, the Knicks roster was strategically put the way it is together. And I think with the Spurs, they a little bit more different because I think with the Knicks, they brought these guys via trade, via signings. But with the Spurs, they drafted and developed all these guys. So they've already been playing together since they were little tiny babies, basically, in the NBA. So, I mean, to be able to see them grow and Wemby take this contract is just them going in the right direction compared to where they were, 5-10 years ago after the Tim Duncan era, we'll say. So, yeah. All right. Now we're going to move on to our next segment here on the show. Killian, we ended up giving grades for each team here in the NBA on their offseason so far. It's been about a week into free agency, I would say. So you did you did the West. I did the East. So we're going to do each team here quickly. But Killian, you want to get it started here?
Yeah, I can rip the first one. And we are back clearly at a different time because we are in different outfits. We ran into a few problems yesterday as we seem to habitually do every episode. I don't know why we can't
I
shake
think
it.
we've ran into every single
Literally, I
problem.
was talking about this with Piper. I think every single problem that you could run into, we have encountered, and then we've made new ones that don't.
Yeah,
exist.
but we've come back, we've fought, and we're still
Yeah.
here pushing. All
Yeah,
right, that's enough.
never. What is it that Nick A30 says?
never
Back
bet
down,
never
give
what?
up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never give up.
The San Antonio Spurs. Their moves this season, they added Tobias Harris in a sign and trade, I believe. And then on draft night, lost 2 second rounders, but that was to acquire Terrace Reed from Denver when they drafted, which me and my dad were just talking about him last night as well. Excited to see what he can bring. Overall, I think I'm going to give them a B minus, just because it's nothing too crazy. Obviously, they just were in the finals, so they don't need to necessarily go out and make any moves.
Exactly. Yes.
Even though I think we did see there are clearly things that need to be addressed in order to make the team
100%.
better. I think they needed some more size next to Wemby.
Yep.
And that, it's not some crazy huge center, but Tobias Harris is still going to be a little bigger that you can use him at the 4, and he's veteran presence as well. That I think is really important for them to have on the court with those young guys, not just on the bench. So
yeah, and I think it goes with what we were talking about before with Wemby and signing that contract extension, but at the same time saving them a little bit more money. It just helps the team in the long run. So yeah, I think so far the Spurs, from losing the finals, even making the finals, at the end of the day, I think the Thunder were expected over them. So to make the finals over them, I think overall they're doing a good job in being able to still
exceeding at all exceptions.
Exactly. So. Yes. So yeah, I know I agree with that grade 100%. So I guess I will start off with my first one in the East, and we're going to be talking about the Celtics. I give them a B. I think, Jaylen Brown, he wanted to be a star player. He wanted to be the number 1 option. He was last season due to Tatum being out. But once he came back, obviously, it's Tatum's team. You can't really argue with that. So with him wanting out and him possibly being shopped for Giannis, it kind of just sparked the controversy that he needed to get away from Boston. So overall, with them getting rid of Brown, they end up bringing in, Paul George, which is, an aging Paul George, which is but he played a little bit better in the last few seasons. Mitchell Robinson, I thought, was a great signing, especially, he was the backup center for the Knicks last year in the finals. And then Mike Conley, I still think he's got, even though he's old, I still think he's got a lot left in the tank to be able to compete for a Celtics team that wants to compete for a championship. And then, of course, getting those draft picks for Brown. I like a B here. I don't think it's like a great offseason, but it's also not like this is a terrible offseason.
Do you think this paves the way for Jason Tatum MVP talks?
That's a great question. That is a great question. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I still don't think Tatum is ever going to be an MVP, unfortunately. I just think there's too many better talented players in the NBA that have better situations than Tatum. Again, Paul George is there. He's not going to be completely, overshadowed and be like, okay, Paul, actually pass the ball to Tatum. He's still going to want to play. And of course, they have Pritchard, which, again, they're saying that they want him to take that jump,
Jalen
Brunson jump.
Leap.
So I think there's a lot of factors that go into an MVP race, at least for a player, and I just don't think Tatum's ever going to have that unless the rest of his roster is completely wiped. So that's my grade for the Celtics.
Sure, that makes sense. I think the Paul George deal, I think now that people have had time to process it, is not as bad as it. Not nearly as bad as it was.
It's not, because at the end of the day, I think Brown would have left in free agency. So to get him at this value when he had his best season ever since coming into the NBA, you got to trade him. So,
and I think from just like a team building standpoint, like we were talking about yesterday at the beginning, when you have 2 dudes on supermax deals, and it's like the biggest 2 supermax deals of all time, the rest of your roster just really thins out. And I think Brad Stevens, as we've seen, has been able to put together really good teams. He just did and won a championship and made one of the greatest teams ever.
And even then, when they were like a 4 seed or those mid-level seeds, they were still competing. They still had good teams. Like I remember Terry Rozier absolutely cooking the Bucks in the playoffs. at the end of the day, Brad Stevens, I think he knows what he's doing. I'm
Mhm.
never going to hate on the guy. I think that's just one of the big things that Celtics have, and that's why they're always in the race to
Yeah.
be able to compete. So, yeah.
All right. My next team, the Houston Rockets. I'm gonna give them a C plus. They haven't done a whole lot, I don't think. And they're in the same. Well, actually, they're not at all in the same boat. So they added Bogdan Bogdanovic and Marcus Smart, and then they lost Josh Okogie. But I think what bites them in the ass is trading Dorian Finney-Smith and 3 second rounders to Charlotte for nothing, just to make a trade exception. And it's only, I think, $13 million. It's not super huge. And again, like the Spurs, I guess, even though they didn't advance as far, there are clearly things that need to be figured out
100%.
if you're the Houston Rockets. And if I was a fan of the team, would be looking for them to make moves, even though they kind of are in a tight spot with KD and everything.
Yeah. But even then, I think we're kind of saying or talking about it in a way where like Kevin Durant was already getting talked about, getting moved, and
Yeah.
then them trading away Jalen Green, where they're like, okay, well, we want KD. Now you just jumped the 14-year age gap for Green to Durant. So it's like, I really don't know the direction, and I feel like that's a lot for a lot of the West teams. I feel like there's just no direction that they're trying to go, and it's in that confusing group of teams where it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the Thunder and Spurs are the outliers there.
Yes.
And even I think I would say Minnesota and probably the Lakers have at least outlined like I think what they want to do with their future.
100%.
The rest of these teams, it's kind of everything is up in the air after last year,
and I feel like it's just been that way for the West. And everybody's like, oh, the West is, the top dog. Like, the East is nothing compared to them. But it's like, I feel like with the East teams, at least they have that trajectory where they want to go. I mean, you can take the Bucks, for example. I mean, now you trade away Giannis. You know where you want it. I mean, a little bit. I'll give them like a 75% that they know what they're doing, because I don't know what they're doing with Gary Trent Jr. Or Kuzma or Turner. We can keep on
or
going,
any other team members. But
yeah, but overall, I agree. I think that grade's perfect for them. I just don't think the Rockets right now are a top
No,
seed.
I think-
They just don't. I don't think they can compete with the Spurs and the Thunder right now.
Yeah, I give them some I feel like a C plus is pretty generous. Actually,
Yes.
looking at it now, like I gave them some props because I think they needed a lot of shooting. Because Amen Thompson didn't make the leap that his coaches wanted him to, but I didn't expect that big of a leap right away in year 2 or 3.
I think it's
3. I think maybe this season was, and then Sengun didn't shoot. He's good at something different every season. It's really bizarre. So
hopefully defense.
To get Bogdan, yeah, right. It probably will be. But
honestly,
he just makes the rounds. Like he'll just be like Hakeem down there. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Rockets, step up your game. Moving to you.
Yeah. The Knicks is the next team, and again with championship level teams, you don't want to change a lot, especially with the Knicks roster. Again, they traded and signed all these guys and brought in the right pieces, so it's kind of hard to determine what you want to do, and you kind of just go off of where your free agents end up signing. So, example, Mitchell Robinson, he went to the Celtics. So, what are you going to do? Well, they signed Andre Drummond, and I really like this signing. I think that Drummond kind of like Mike Conley. I mean, he's aging, but at the same time, he's still got a lot of juice left in the tank where he can still compete and be that backup center. And I think with Mitchell Robinson having those injuries in the past and never really being healthy, I think that Drummond's a great replacement. And then on top of that, they got 5 second rounders.
Yeah.
So I give the Knicks I'm gonna give them an A-. Honestly,
okay.
I think that you can't go as like even below an A- because they haven't done anything bad in the offseason. I think they're a better team, honestly, like with signing Drummond over Mitchell Robinson.
Sure.
I mean,
maybe.
I think just the value of what they've added compared to what they got rid of, because Huck Porty wasn't doing anything. I mean, yeah, he had a couple flashes here and there, but it's like Robinson, you just can't rely on that. And at the end of the day, he's getting a lot more money than Drummond, where you sign Drummond to a 1-year deal, you look to the next offseason, you bring in that other guy. and it's just
Right.
much
I think
better.
the fact that they're signing Andre Drummond for as cheap as they are
Mhm.
is what makes that deal beneficial. Because he is like garbage. I'm not gonna lie. I think,
Drummond?
yeah, he's pretty bad.
I mean, he can hit the 3 ball. It's better than what
He takes
Robinson.
threes. I wouldn't say he can hit the three.
He shoots
He
threes.
shoots threes.
I would say he's like a good 30% shooter, 25.
Sure, which is better than Mitchell Robinson. So you can
Yes,
give him some out there. I just feel like what he brought to them during the playoffs was so vitally important to be able to like mirror Cat completely in play style and give
That's
them
true.
a super different dynamic. I think just contract wise, like it would have been tough to keep him because he did go and get his bag, which I rightfully earned, right, in Boston.
100%.
And I think what stings too is that he does go to Boston.
Yeah.
Division rival, conference rival, however you want to call it. Like of all teams, I think that is what makes it sting. But getting the 5 second rounders from, I think it was just a whole bunch of draft deals.
And
that's big for them.
No,
to
100%.
have assets, so.
Exactly. And I think with this too is that this free agent class, especially at the center position, very weak. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to sign Drummond, like you said, at this cheap of a contract, you get these 5 second rounders. The Knicks have been one of the best teams when it comes to the offseason the last 4 or 5 years here, where I'm looking more towards next season or even the trade deadline.
Sure.
Where Drummond doesn't need to be that guy for them as long as he's there just to hold that spot in the meantime. And then you can use those 5 second rounders or whoever you want to give up and bring in that backup center like they did with Jose Alvarado at that point guard position. Exactly the same thing, but in the center, and then you compete for a championship again.
Sure.
So that's why I like the A-. I feel like there's not really – it's kind of a tough spot where it's like, okay, this isn't really a bad move. And there wasn't really anything that you're giving up. So, yeah.
Sure. I can get behind it.
Yeah.
My next team, the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to give a C. I don't know what they're doing, really. Obviously, they have to build from the ground up post Luka. But the moves that they made just kind of confused me. I feel like they drafted Morez Johnson a little higher than I would have.
Dusty May, bro.
Yeah, well, getting Dusty May in as the coach, I think, will be interesting.
Do we
talked
add
about
that to their grade a little bit, like getting Dusty May?
I haven't written.
Oh, really? You do? Okay,
so,
I wasn't sure. Yes.
But then on the flip side, I also have that they lost Jason Kidd, which again, I think we've talked about my stance a little bit. I would rather have him coaching than Dusty May, just because he is more proven. He's
true.
Definitely got the brains to do it, and I think we've talked about him before. I think on the draft episode, maybe.
I think
if anyone could do it, it would be him.
Exactly, but I think the way that I'm looking at them firing Kidd and going with Dusty May is that with Kidd, he didn't do very well with young guys in Milwaukee. So I feel like
he didn't.
I mean, to be fair, like what did he do with Kidd in Milwaukee?
He made Giannis. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Like
I do know. What do you mean? He was the head coach there.
Yeah, but Giannis didn't take that leap until we got most improved in 2016, and then that's when they fired him, right?
Well, he was.
So he didn't take the MVP leap until Bud was there.
So I would argue that he won and most improved in.
I think it's 2016, right? And Kidd was fired halfway through
15, 16? No, well, he got fired in 2017, 18 when we lost to the Celtics. Okay. And I would argue that because after that season, Giannis was on the cover of 2K.
Right.
He was good enough to be in MVP conversations. And that was all during Jason Kidd's time. So and I mean, again, I did watch Giannis growing up, so that's where I do have a little bias on him. Like, see what he did with him, right? You have Cooper Flagg now on the team. So I think developing could have been.
I don't know. I feel like with Kidd, it was tough. I'm in that gray area, honestly, with Kidd.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I just remember the years, with Kidd as a head coach, and it's just like, okay, I'll give you Giannis, 100%. I'll give you Giannis.
Okay.
I'll take that back. I will take that back, 100%. I just think that. I just don't understand where Kidd's focus was when he was in Milwaukee. Like there's a lot of things that were going into Kidd's tenure when he was in, the head coach.
He did also go to the finals like 3 years ago.
Yeah, so he's a confusing coach. That's where I'm just trying to put this.
Sure,
Where it's like
okay.
I really don't.
There is,
know
yeah, I
how
can
Kid
understand
is.
the thought process
Yes.
behind it. Just not the thought process I would have approached. And then like the actual deal they made, they got Santi Aldama in the door, and that just doesn't like. Okay, congrats. And they lost. So through a bunch of trades and draft night deals, they lost 4 second-round picks.
Mhm.
Where do you stand on like a rebuilding team and moving second-round picks? Like, do you value those at all?
I
or-
value second round picks. Like, all right, if I had to put this in a way that you can, if you draft somebody late enough in the second round, they could be a two-way contract. So the value I
Okay.
think of a second round pick is almost like a sixth or seventh rounder
Yeah,
draft pick in the NFL. I like you're barely making the roster, you're barely even playing.
right.
So to find, a hidden gem in the second round, yeah, we can take an example, Malcolm Brogdon or something like that, where it's like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, once in a while you're gonna
but
find
it's just
these
so
hits.
rare. Sure,
It's
okay.
so rare. So it's like, yeah, you trade the second rounders, but I also like the value in the way where you can throw them in trades. I'm not saying you got to be the Bucks and trade 5 of them for Jay Crowder,
Yeah.
but you have the value for that. So
Oh, what a deal!
yeah.
that was.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the Mavericks, again, another team that's kind of in that bubble where it's like, okay, what are we doing here? And especially it's gone back the last 2 years
Right.
to Nico, and now you have the new GM, and you're trying to rip that Band-Aid off that's still bleeding.
hmm
And how are you going to be able to, patch that up and still be able to compete at a high level? And I think they just need to completely go young and completely just
Yeah.
be okay.
Completely turn it around.
Be okay with, you traded away Luka. You got terrible valuable for him, or value, excuse me.
They got like 3/4 of Anthony Davis basketball.
Yeah.
I watched that game.
Oh yeah,
That was awesome. The first half, like, had me.
I
Literally,
did watch that
you know
game.
the
That's
meme
right.
of
Yes.
you had me in the first half.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, right? The kid playing football. Genuinely, that first half, I was convinced
I remember that.
the
Yeah.
Mavs won this trade somehow. And then 4 minutes later,
Because
Achilles gone, elbow bruised, eye out. Like, you name
to
it.
be fair, KD was always supposed to be that guy, and that's just how injuries have taken over his career. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if let's just say injuries were turned off, I'm talking AD would be a Hall of Famer easily. 100%.
Well, I think he definitely still could be. I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Careful what you say.
But it would be much less of a question if, like you said, injuries
No,
were
exactly.
turned off.
So yeah, I think the Mavericks, they need to hit the reset
They
button.
do.
You trade away Kawhi, that is a reset button, and I think that they're still trying to fix that.
Yeah.
And they had so much pressure on them after that too, where it's like it's understandable, but at the end of the day, you just got to stick to what you want to do,
Mhm.
and you can't keep on swerving on these offside roads or just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You get
enough
what I
about
mean.
the No one's
Yeah.
ever talked about the Mavericks that much ever before. So let's just your next squad, please.
Yeah, I got you. I'll make it short because there's not a lot to talk about. But the Raptors, I give them a C plus.
Okay.
You trade away Brandon Ingram, which I kind of like Brandon Ingram. I still think he can compete at a decently good
Okay.
level. Mamu was. I've always
stings,
always
honestly.
loved Mamu.
And this career year, like to not, and I don't
Mhm.
think I'll look it up as you're talking. I'll try and find his contract with LA. Like I don't think it was super.
It
big,
wasn't
so-
that. But yeah, Mamu. I think that with him starting Milwaukee, then the Spurs, and now the Raptors, and then he finally takes that jump where he was potentially a most improved player. Like he was up there in talks.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. And then,
Okay, so it was a 4-year, $52 million deal that he signed. So honestly, fair.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, you're still losing the value of Mamu. We'll say that. Grady Dick, he's not going to live up to the hype ever. I think he's.
I've sold on him.
I think he's over.
I know he's your boy or something, but
Well, I have his jersey, yeah, because but I just don't think trading away, Ingram and Dick, and then 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and his pick swap, and then you get like a 36-year-old Kawhi, which again,
yeah. So
Kawhi's still an elite player, but he's old, and I just
the age I think is what concerns me about that, along with some other things, because like we talked about as well, the trade might not even happen.
exactly.
I think I'm okay on moving off of Grady Dick, obviously, and Brandon Ingram. I was really not impressed by what he did in the playoffs. And for his player type, like kind of that long, lanky three who can just go get mini buckets
you
when you
think
need it,
he'd
Kawhi
be
Leonard is the ultimate upgrade.
yes,
But he is old, and they gave up a lot of picks as well. And that's where I'm not.
And I think with Kawhi, this is gonna be a great defensive team. The Raptors will be completely.
They're
it's
gonna
a
be really
lockdown
good
city
for this season. But
for this season.
their future, exactly.
It's
That's
like,
where it
so
gets,
that's why I like a C plus. I
Yeah.
think that works perfectly, and they got Kyle Anderson, so we can move on after that. But yeah, you get a C plus for the Raptors. I think that fits them perfectly. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, my next team, the Memphis Grizzlies. I was actually really impressed by what they've done. I gave them an A minus.
Okay.
So they traded Ja to Portland, and Santi Aldama, like I just said, is in Dallas. But listen to this haul. So they drafted Cam Boozer, and then they, through trades or free agency, got Jeremy Grant, Chris Murray, Isaiah Stewart, Quentin Post, D'Angelo Russell, AJ Johnson, 1 first-round pick, 5 second-round picks, and 1 swap. So a lot outside of Cam Boozer is definitely the most exciting name there. And I honestly think outside of like Chris Murray, I don't know a whole lot about. D'Angelo Russell has no value. And I guess not the biggest names, but they are clearly now in their rebuild window because that
100%.
last piece of that whatever 2022 era you want to call the Grizzlies is officially done.
And that's what I love about the Grizzlies. They went completely into it, and they also got Karim Lopez too. I don't know if you said him or not, but
no, I didn't. I think I left picks outside the lottery off of mine, but he was in my mock. So again, a great pick.
I think a great pick too, yeah. But I think the Grizzlies, they're doing exactly what we're talking about. Like they need to figure out where they want to go, and right here, this is a great way of doing it. Ja was not doing anything for their team, and getting the value still, to Portland, what they got back. I love this for them, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's we can move quickly because this is the Grizzlies. We don't have to spend too much time, but this is a pretty impressive start, I think, to 100%. Their next
and
window. So
who's their head coach now over there?
What is? He's got some foreign name like
Tomas Lozalo. Izalo?
I don't know.
Apologies for saying that wrong.
Something Thomas, like but he was when Jenkins got fired.
Okay.
The fill in that year because they fired him like with 6 games left to go or something in the regular season, and then he's just been the interim since. So
they made the playoffs that year too, right?
Yeah, they lost. They got destroyed by the Thunder.
Same thing happened with Malone too for the Nuggets. Like it was
that was a really, really bizarre.
I was like, what is happening?
And I get moving on from both of those coaches for the teams, but when it happened, was just
confused,
bizarre. Yeah. So we'll see. Moving on, your next team is
the 76ers. Okay. I loved what they did this offseason. Yeah, I think the 76ers. They're up there with one of the. I think honestly they can compete for one of the best off seasons a team had this year. I'm gonna give them an A. Jaylen Brown, obviously we saw what he did last year. We just talked about him with the Celtics. Dean Wade, I still think he can hit that 3 ball, come off the bench, and be able to do what he did in Cleveland. I think he was in Cleveland way too long, so finally he gets on a new team. Anthony Simons. Be able to come off the bench. I love this deal. I think Simons wasn't going to do anything in Chicago. Obviously, he's been moved around a little bit, but the value is still there for Simons, and I think he's what they need coming off the bench. Huck Porty, again, we talked about with the Knicks. He's had those flashes, so we'll see what happens there. Caleb Love, this is underrated for me.
I think so as well.
I think that what he was doing in Portland, I think he was on a 2-way contract to start, and then they moved him to a regular contract. So I think I'm not sure what kind of contract they got with the Sixers, but I still think there's a lot of value with Love. I know he was supposed to be a projected lottery pick when he was younger, going into college. So I still think he's got value there. I'm not saying he's going to turn into some star player, but to be able to come off the bench and put some nice points in, especially if Simons gets injured or something like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Then we go to the guys they got rid of for Jaylen Brown. Paul George, aging. He's had, his good years.
Yeah.
See ya. Quentin Grimes, one of the most overrated players in the league.
See, and now because I think we cut this question out from yesterday.
Yes, we
so
did.
Anthony Simons or Quentin Grimes? Your pick
Anthony
is-
Simons,
Sure.
100%.
So I did the stats yesterday. It's pretty much the same. You
Is it
can
really?
you can take your pick. I think Anthony Simons averaged like a point more on like a little better shooting.
Mhm.
Quentin Grimes is maybe better all around. But
Yes.
lean your way. I guess I would give Anthony the nod too, just
Mhm.
because he's experienced a little more. I don't doubt that Quentin Grimes will get there, but right now, and the value of his deal too. I think that's been kind of a trend today. I feel like
It always has, and I think Grimes, especially with last year, I think there was just way too much attention on him last year in the offseason where it's like, man, like maybe he could take that jump. And 2K was like saying that he could go from a 78 overall to 85 in one offseason. So I'm like, just the overreaction of Grimes and what he's done. I just don't think he's ever going to take that big leap.
and I feel like it's in the gutter now because he is on the Lakers, and
Yeah.
when you go to the Lakers, if you're not a star player, you lose 10 on all your attributes. So
Pretty much, yeah. So
we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm not a big Grimes fan, but hey, prove me wrong then. Honestly, I'm more than willing to accept my defeat on that take. But they also got rid of Kelly Oubre, which he had a nice couple of years there. I mean, nothing too special. Andre Drummond they lost, and then the 2 first-rounders, and then 2 second-rounders. So I think overall, Philadelphia, again, if Embiid can stay healthy, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Really, it really is.
Former league MVP Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I miss him. I really just want him to stay healthy for one.
I do too,
year.
because this team would be so good if we can get.
We're past the joking years of trust the process and like laugh at them. Ha ha ha! It didn't work. I'm ready for the Sixers to take that lead and be able to compete for.
I am too. I can also see a world where they just pull some like absurd load management, and Joel Embiid plays literally like 10 or 15.
I
games
would
and just plays the play.
I actually want to look that up. Joel Embiid games played, because it's
pretty rough. You're gonna be disappointed by whatever.
Yeah, I know.
See.
Well, the 1 year he was an MVP, so he played 63 games last year. Can I just go by seasons here? Stats. Here we go. Games played. Is that even freaking stat? Like, where can I find that?
I have an idea. Let me see if I can.
Oh, games played.
Jarvis, put the elevator music on while we try and find.
Oh, here we go. I got it.
Games played.
So last year he played 38 games. The year before that he played 19. The year before that he played 39. His MVP year was that 21-22? Or was it 22?
It was 23.
Okay, he played 66 games that year, which I don't know how you win MVP on that. 68 games.
He would have because he would have if even the games played rule was then he made it by
33 points per game. Never mind, I lied.
Yeah, 30. Well, let's look at this. Joel Embiid.
He averaged 34 points per game in the year he played 39 games. But the last 3 seasons, let's just say it, basically probably a whole year. The last 3 seasons combined, a whole year plus a little bit of playoff games. Like, man, that is just disappointing.
And it sucks because I don't want to be out on him because he is so good when he does play.
He's starting to get old though. He's 32, so
yeah.
Now you're on the years where you're going down. So again, I want to see the Sixers succeed. Sixers succeed. Imagine saying that.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I really want him to succeed this year, and all relies on the shoulders of Joel Embiid. So
as it usually does, which is always a tough bet, but
and I can't.
They've put themselves in the best position though to be good, I think. So
yeah, 100%. Unless they, James Harden comes back.
Right. Okay. I can start going with my next team.
Yep.
I have the Pelicans. I gave them an F because they suck and I don't care about them and I hate them. I think they should be relegated. When we add the Vegas team and the Supersonics, I think I just proposed this to my dad. We should relegate the Nets and the Pelicans. So then when we have them, we still have 30 teams, and then we move Minnesota to the East. So then the conferences even out because we're taking away one East, one West,
I think that would be understandable. I don't see why not. But would you move? I feel like
Them or
Then
Memphis,
you'd move
aren't they the
Cleveland. Would you move Cleveland? Again, why is Memphis in the West?
I don't know. I feel like both of those being Western
This
Conference
is-
teams is pretty stupid. Take your pick, but we'll take one.
I think Minnesota automatically needs to be, and
Let's move
considering-
them because they're better, so then they will be more fun to watch.
100%.
I agree.
Yes.
All
But
right.
there needs to be a little bit of a realignment.
Yeah.
By the way, they took away that tab in 2K.
Huh?
They took away the realignment in 2K. You can't move teams to different conferences now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
My franchises.
Maybe in 27 they'll bring that back.
Who do you think the cover's going to be?
Isn't it Wemby? I feel like that got. Did you?
I
feel
think
like
there's
somebody
a
told
leak
me
about
that.
it.
I don't know. It could be Denny
They-
Avdia. I'm just kidding. It would not be him. Wemby, Ant. LeBron, final year 2K cover.
Yeah, possibly.
I would be.
I think it's
entirely
going.
on board with that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Wemby, just from the leaks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
but
they
I'm
could-
okay with that. I think he had a great year. Obviously, made it to the finals. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain. If
But
that was the case.
Pelicans.
No,
Eh.
yeah, we're done. Your next team. I don't want to talk
Yes,
about
sure,
that.
the
They
Bucks.
added their move was they hired Jamal Mosley, so they're honestly in a worse
That's
place.
even,
than
that's
they
an
were.
F minus.
That's
at
all
that
they've
point.
done. F the
Mosley?
worst. Yeah, not even worth it. Your next team is
What's the one? Never mind. I'm not going to say it. The next team we're going to talk about is the Nets.
this one's interesting. I
This
think.
one is interesting. Finally, I'm going to be honest. I think this is a better offseason than their past. I give them B minus.
fair. Yeah.
Mikel Brown Jr. They added through the draft, which another guard because they got 4 of them
They
last
drafted
year.
literally five guards with 5 first-round picks last year. Not
Yeah.
only did they draft 5 players with 5 first-round picks, they were all guards.
I think
Idiots.
wasn't it 4 and then the one was Danny Wolf.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
4 guards, but
But
still,
he
this is
still-
a
he
fifth
likes
guard.
to play like a guard. He's
He
weird. He's dumb.
does. Yeah, he's like the one Michigan guy exception that was like not that good. So yeah, Mikel Brown Jr., which I guess at this value there wasn't really else you can go because of Mara went like the pick before.
Mhm.
Julius Randle next. Keon Ellis.
See, no. Let's not next Julius Randle.
Whoa,
I feel as though he has been getting very underrated due to hate from the playoffs, and I understand it. It just depends. Like, it sucks that he doesn't show up in the playoffs. I feel like this past year he was better than he had been before, but it's always like elimination games. You don't even play him. Like, there's just no point. But the Nets hopefully shouldn't get to a point where they're playing playoff elimination games this year. So
So-
that shouldn't be a worry.
But what is Randall's contract? Has he got like 1 year left? He should. So are you looking at Randall as a guy you trade away at the trade deadline? Because him and MPJ, like I don't.
He's
Again,
on
with the
a-
Nets.
He's on a 3-year, $100 million deal through. I think it expires after this season. So
I think with him and MPJ is just
it's gonna
asking
be
for a
hell.
disaster.
Like, that is
That's what I'm saying. It's like skip over Julius Randle in a
Yeah.
sense where it's
Sure,
like
that makes
he's not
sense.
going to do anything towards the value of the Nets. Where it's like I would much rather again be like the Grizzlies. Go full rebuild. Let your young guys play another year. Let them develop. Let them
Yeah.
figure it out. I don't care. It's been 1 season. Igor Demon has shown the flashes. I think, gosh, there's another guard on the team. I can't remember right now, but like these guys, they can play basketball. I just think they need another year of it. I think that you can't just overshadow 1 season and say, "Oh yeah, these guys suck."
no,
That's
because
the
I
end of it.
believe Jordy Fernandez, I think, is a really good coach as
Mhm,
well. He
yeah.
hasn't been able to show it because they have been so shit.
And I think
So I
Clax,
feel like that's
yeah.
where Julius Randle can add some value because you just have better
That's true.
basketball players
Yeah.
in the room. It's the same, like, not to the level with the Wizards, but I feel like they're kind of taking the same approach where they have all these young dudes with no direction. So let's
Mhm.
just get older people in the building who can play. So
Yeah,
I
and
think from looking at it like that, B minus is fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's nothing stellar, but
I agree.
it's a good start. So,
Yeah, and I think with that too, I think they should have traded away MPJ last year. I
Mm-hmm.
think they should have got some value, get more young guys, get more draft picks. I mean, they should have just keep on spamming that trade finder on
yeah,
2K.
no, I
Honestly,
agree. I thought he was going to be gone for sure. at the
easily.
deadline, but
But I guess not. But yeah, Keon Ellis. I think that I thought he was going to take that leap, and he never really did. So
No, so
Ellis
let
is
him
never going to
go.
be
Let him
special.
play on the Nets. That's what that.
And
is.
then they signed Mo Wagner, which to replace Nick Claxton. But yeah, they got rid of Nick Claxton, which I think that they should have got rid of him 2 years ago.
And
I think they're just late to everything.
They are, and at the end of the day, I feel like whatever they do, it just all matters a little less because they are the Nets. So that's where I stand.
I think I'm going to change that grade to a C+.
Yeah,
Yes.
screw the Nets.
Yeah. Screw the Nets. Next
team, the OKC Thunder. I'm giving them an A. It hasn't been monumental, but like they just make the best out of every situation they can.
I don't know how they do it.
It's impressive. They dumped Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins' contracts along with Brandon Carlson, which isn't like that was really minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that to draft. That lets them draft. Well, doesn't let them draft, but they drafted Adai Mara and then added 2 second-rounders as well. So I feel like they got more assets and just they dumped a bunch of players who don't play and some picks for more picks than they already had and a player they will play. And so that's ideal to me.
Yeah.
And it stinks. Well, I don't care that it's happening to the Thunder. I'm not against them really, unlike most. But
exactly. And I think too, you got to put in consideration here they want to extend like Cason Wallace and then also or Cason Wallace, whatever you say his name.
Yeah, it was well,
and then AJ Mitchell too. I think that I honestly think they're on the defensive if they want to trade Mitchell and get a lot of value for him. Or if
they're gonna have to make up their minds really quick because they are putting so much money into Shea, Chet, and J-Dub, which is fine. Like that is a big three of players I am more than comfortable doing that with. But like we were talking with the Celtics, it really kind of thins out your options elsewhere. And they do have really good players on really good deals, but they just had too many players on too many good deals. So they cut what they needed to, and I think they performed excellent.
Yeah, so I agree. So I got the Pistons, and I'm gonna give them a B+ here. You bring John Collins, who I still think is able to play as a rotational player. Where the Pistons are at right now, I think it fits them perfectly, actually.
Yeah, it's nothing stellar, but I think I would probably rather have John Collins than Tobias Harris, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so because
actually.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I think also on the other side of that Thunder deal, Isaiah Joe. That's one of the things the Pistons lacked in the playoffs was their bench. And I think with adding Collins and now Isaiah Joe, and then you trade with the Bucks, get Taurean Prince who can hit the 3 ball. We've seen it consistently for him. I think overall, them getting rid of Harris, Isaiah Stewart, who was just fighting somebody every game, and then Karis LeVert's contract.
That's just more punches for Ron Howard.
That is true.
Big dog steps down. Someone's got to fill in,
I was hoping it was going to be Marcus Sasser, but then he got traded. So,
no. I
like
that guy.
Yeah, I like the Pistons. I think that obviously they were in the first seed last year, so I think they're filling the cracks right now. I like what they got for the guys they traded away. So. And they also got 3 second-rounders, and then they gave up the 2 second-rounders to Milwaukee and LeVert too. So.
Yeah, their biggest weakness to me is clearly shooting.
Yes.
And they got more shooters in the door. So.
And I don't think they're done yet. I still think they're going to make a couple more moves here. So, but overall,
sure.
B+ for the Pistons.
Yeah, that's fair. I think. Sounds good. Works for me.
Yeah.
For my next team, I have the Nuggets. I'm going to give them an F. This is just disappointing again. Since they won the chip, it's just all been downhill. All they did was go and get Marvin Bagley so far this offseason and let Tim Hardaway Jr. go. It just stinks. You have a crazy generational talent in Jokic, and since they won, they've done nothing to make their team improve. And it's not like they need to go and get huge pieces, right? Like little glue guys. They just let all of these guys leave for nothing.
Even like what the Spurs are doing right now, I feel like they never took that next step. Because in the offseason, the year after, it almost seems like they didn't do anything either. And it's just been kind of that same way the last few years too.
Christian Brown's got to go. We know where I stand. I don't have to give that whole rant again. And like every other team in the West, or not every other team, but like a good comp might be the Rockets. Like every team around them is getting better, and they year after year are doing nothing when they have glaring needs that they need to fill. So yeah, no point on spending too much time on them. I feel like it's the same year after year, honestly. And you know, if I was a fan, I would start to get disappointed.
Yeah.
And nervous for the future. Like
100%.
I don't know what their assets are looking like, but I don't know.
I would assume, I mean, we can go back to the Cam Johnson trade. I don't even know what they all got for that, but putting Cam Johnson right up against Michael Porter Jr., I'm taking MPJ. Yes, MPJ wants to score more and he wants to be that kind of that ball hog a little bit in a way. But at the end of the day, Cam Johnson, what has he done? I mean, I'm sorry, but like again,
It's just been underwhelming.
It
and
has been.
That's why. So like, I understand they might be capped on what they can do because they made these splashes last off season, and you have to just live with the results. But
unfortunately, yeah. Which we're not saying. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say, oh, well, Cam Johnson could turn around. He's not. It's gonna be the same Cam Johnson every year, and it was different when he was on the Suns because he was that young Cam Johnson.
Right.
It was like, oh, this guy actually has flashes of potentially being a nice power forward for a squad. No, he's
got to step it up.
yeah, he does. But yeah, no, I totally agree with the grade. I just think that the Nuggets, they don't deserve anything more than that. So
Yeah.
all right, with that, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm gonna give them a D+. They haven't done anything either. Kind of the same boat. They're kind of waiting on LeBron to decide what he wants to do. Right now, they're currently favored to get LeBron. So I mean, if you get him, yeah, the grade will change.
Right.
Then you got to see what you got to do with James Harden and the extension there. But going back to the trade with Darius Garland, it's been rough ever since, and I feel like I even brought up the point of possibly just pulling it up and just saying, okay, yeah, this isn't working. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, they extended him, but Evan Mobley, you can get out of here. Jared Allen, we'll see what we can get for you. Like, it just, something's got to change. They lose Dean Wade, Keon Ellis, and Larry Nance Jr., which they put a lot into Keon Ellis, and they only gained one second rounder out of that. So
Yeah.
with the offseason so far, I feel like the Cavs, they're one of the teams that could definitely change a lot, but as of right now, there's nothing really too much to talk about them besides the fact that they haven't done anything.
They haven't done a whole lot. Probably, I would assume, in hopes to make cap to clear Harden, or to sign Harden. Which, if that is your goal, that's not a good goal to have. I think your rant got cut.
Did it really?
Well, we're here again, right?
Yeah,
did it
we are.
save? Maybe it did. I don't know.
Maybe it did.
But
I ranted about James
we're
Harden.
anti James Harden.
We are anti-James Harden. I think that's the next flag we gotta get, where like it's James Harden, but like the circle and the X across it, across his face.
Yeah, something we'll have to work on it.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, Cavs.
Next, yeah, we are crunched for time again. Edit. We had to redo this. I just got back from the dentist and have to leave again soon. So we're putting the pedal to the metal, but all right.
We're getting shades from Dennis here at the looks behind the screen.
It's all good.
Our first live viewer.
My next team, I have the T-Wolves, and I'm gonna give them B+. They needed a point guard. They needed to get rid of Julius Randle, and they were able to do all that in one move. And I'm confident in LaMelo Ball to be good as the number 2 option. I think he just had his best season this year, arguably. Very well could have talked himself into a All-NBA third team, and that would have made sense to me. I like the idea of him behind Ant as the number 2 guy. What stings and why I'm not as high on this is that they did give up a lot of assets, but I think they're doing that with the mindset of like, this is the team that we're here to build around. This is the window we want. So if they're willing to sacrifice these picks for this time, I guess it makes sense. And losing that Naz Reid stings. That blows for them.
Yeah, it does. But I think with Naz Reid, I never saw him as an all-star, like a future all-star. I've always seen him I would say a key player to a championship team. He can be, but I'm not saying he'll be that all-star type level. And I think what they wanted him to be was that understudy to Rudy, and then ended up taking Rudy's spot. And it just never really worked out that way, which I think is perfectly fine because now you get a guy like LaMelo who can play next to Anthony Edwards, and we've seen in the past that Edwards can play with a good point guard. Mike Conley, he was there for the years that Ant was growing up as NBA player. So to see him now have that all-star caliber point guard with him in a 1-2 punch, Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's the nickname I like.
Yeah.
That they've been picking. So, I think that the Timberwolves did a great job here and be able to construct a nice team, and now they're ready to pursue championship for the first time. I think we can actually say that they could be championship contenders in the West.
Yeah, sure. I would put them at.
I wouldn't say they're up there with Spurs and Thunder, but
I would
I'd
probably
say,
put them right behind them.
Yeah,
though,
100%.
Yeah, so
but yeah.
could happen. Probably unlikely, but never gonna rule it out.
Hey, you never know. Thunder could shake and tear his ACL, and then you have
When Wemby tears his ACL,
Yeah.
and Jokic
Next
tears
thing
his
you know.
ACL, and if enough ACLs go down,
Then we go to the Achilles.
2027 NBA champions, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So
Who we thinking? I mean, early prediction. Let's just say it right now. Who do we think?
the finals.
Yeah.
The Thunder and the who's good in the East? I don't know.
I don't think the Pistons are gonna do it. I like the Knicks again. Honestly.
Again,
Yeah.
they probably have the best chance.
Knicks and Thunder. I feel like would be my choice
Or the
right now.
Celtics again. I don't know. Knicks Thunder sounds fine.
Yeah, we'll stick at that for now.
Yeah.
We got a few months until the season actually starts. But yeah, with that we can move on to the next team in the East, the Milwaukee Bucks. And yeah, I'm gonna give them a B. I think that with obviously Giannis going and Bobby Portis, and then them getting rid of Taurean Prince and Gary Harris for Karis LeVert. I think the moves that they've made have definitely gone into that young side of things where that's where you want to be. I think the Bucks have a lot of promise here with a lot of their younger guys. Joel Ware is definitely excited for.
Yeah, absolutely.
He should be a nice center if they move on from Miles Turner. He'll fit into that spot perfectly. Definitely still a lot of potential for Kasper Sionis. I think I said his name right. And then, of course, the 2 draft picks, Braden Burries and Nate Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's filled all over with potential for this Bucks. And then, of course, the big thing that got cut out that I was talking about before, but draft capital. We just haven't had that. And for the fact that we got a lot of it for Giannis and Bobby Portis is great. We got 2 first-rounders, 3 second-rounders, 1 pick swap now.
Yeah.
Of course, one of those second-rounders came from the Karis LeVert deal. But at the end of the day, I love LeVert to be able to develop a lot of these guards because we have a lot of these guards. So I think overall, we can also put, we're good. But yeah, Bucks, got them at a B. So
Yeah, makes sense to me. And I think we touched on it when the trade happened, but if we held any longer on Giannis, his value would just
easily
straight down.
And I think last year, if we would have moved him before, we didn't know this was going to happen.
Right.
year.
Yeah.
We didn't know Giannis was going to be injured most of the year, so I don't blame Milwaukee not trading him then or at the trade deadline because it didn't seem right. But yeah, the value already kind of went down, but the fact, I think I brought it up last time we were talking about it, we didn't get Nikola Jovic in this deal, just makes it an even better trade for us overall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sounds good. My next team in the West, the Portland Trailblazers. I'm giving them a B-. They haven't done a whole lot. They went and got John Morant, which is kind of a head scratcher. I see what they're trying to do. I just feel like they have too many cooks in the kitchen now at the guard spot. You have him, Dame, Drew for the time being, although he might get moved, Drew Holiday, and Scoot Henderson. So I feel like that's a lot of point guards to try and nail a rotation on, but they do have a lot of talent there to pick from.
They do.
Which is why we're at a B- and not a whole lot lower. And they dropped Jeremy Grant as well in that John Morant trade, which
He was there forever
he was
so
forever
much
on a big contract, serving as their tank commander or whatever. And they're out of that era now, so he,
And I think
salute your time, but it's time to go. So.
Exactly, but I mean, to be fair, you can also go down to the 2-guard spot. Just guards in general, they have a lot of. Shaedon Sharp's also there. He's only 23 years old, so I mean, I feel like there is a move definitely to be made. But the veteran presence is there. I mean, if they crazy Ja, Drew, and Dame.
They have the keys to be good for sure. They have the talent there. I don't know about the execution. We'll have to see.
I think if they were to do something, who do you move to the 2-guard, Ja or Dame? I think Ja.
None.
Really?
No, absolutely not. I can't put either of them at my 2.
Well,
Someone's
Mullins
coming
gonna
off
come
the bench.
You
Yeah,
think Dame's
that's
gonna come off
fine.
the bench? Because I would start
Sure.
Jaw. Really?
Sure. He's old. That's what I would do probably, and it makes sense. Like I think he's probably the more talented option. But if you want to save him for the end of the season, like we've seen with the
Yeah.
Bucks, where like he's fizzling out and then gets hurt. If you want to preserve what you have of Damian Lillard, I think it would make sense to bring him off the bench in this role.
It's a fair point to bring up, but yeah, I agree. I think that really works out for them. So, all right, with that, we got the Chicago Bulls next. I got an A+++.
Yep.
This is a great offseason for Chicago. You get Caleb Wilson at 4. You bring in Norman Powell, who's a great role player. Nick Claxton. Couple off seasons ago should have been traded. I feel like I've said it like 40 times, but 2 swaps as well, and then you only lose Anthony Simons and Colin Sexton, which you don't really need them at this point for the Bulls. So to bring in a guy like Powell, like play nice with Wilson, I've been kind of saying it. I think the Bulls could be a sneaky playoff team. They get past the play-in and be able to face the 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of upside for this Bulls squad. Maybe this year's not the year. This is more of that bridge year that's like, okay, this isn't the year, but next year we're going for that, but we just want to develop Wilson and see how he plays with them.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that throws me off though is bringing in Norman Powell, because why would you bring in Norman Powell if you don't think he can be for a playoff spot? I would say.
Well, maybe they think they can, like you just said. I don't know. I don't think his deal was super crazy either. So if they're able to get like a good scoring option, which they haven't really had in, that's good. And I think just to be kind of a leader there maybe as well, with all these young dudes coming up like Matas and Caleb Wilson, which it seems like is the direction they want their franchise to go, is with those 2 guys. So I think they did a good job at drafting him, 1, and then getting good supporting pieces around as well.
I think this is the best prospect they've had in a very, very long time. So
yeah, well, their last number 4 overall pick was spent on Patrick Williams. So yeah, we do. I don't imagine he might be like actually the worst NBA player in the NBA. So
I thought you were gonna say the worst like top 5 pick.
Oh,
one of the
no,
worst.
there's much worse. I think.
Yeah, there's been a few. Surprisingly enough, I completely forgot Josh Jackson was like a top 5 pick.
I think he was 5th, right?
Yeah,
the
Suns.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be good.
he was. I thought so.
All right,
Swayed in by those Kansas States.
That's when Kansas had good players. I mean, we'll see how good Peterson is here. So yeah,
My money is on yes.
yeah. Me too.
And speaking of the team I have next is the Jazz. I'm gonna give them a B.
Threw an alley
You
oop
did,
right
yeah,
there.
wow.
Let's go.
Jam. The Jazz. A lot of this just goes to drafting Darren Peterson, and I like the return on Walker Kessler as well. Even though you do lose him, but he missed this entire last season. To get 2 first-rounders and 2 swaps is
And they don't theoretically
good.
need him either.
no. When you have Laurie and JJJ right there with them, like I feel like much like the Blazers, but just the opposite. Their big room was starting to get a little crowded, and
They actually made
make
the
your
move.
cuts and get the return that you can, and props to them, well done. So
Yeah, and they were talking about moving him for at least a couple, I would say, seasons.
yeah,
I never thought he was going to be there long term. I also don't think he's going to be, I'd say this about a lot of people, but I mean, a big player.
yeah.
I think he's better than most centers in the league, but I don't know. Like you said, excuse me. I think the return they got for him was exactly what they needed in order to still build up that future, but at the same time be able to compete. And I think that with the roster they have right now, maybe the bench pieces aren't as great because they got Bryce Sensabaugh and then Kyle Filipowski, but then kind of just gets a little bit shady after that.
Isaiah Collier, he's pretty
not
solid.
bad. He's not bad. That's right.
They're on the way.
They're on the way.
Much like the Bulls. So.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yep.
Great. So yeah.
So for the next team, we got the Indiana Pacers. Not a lot to talk about them on them. They only added 2 guys and didn't lose anybody. With the year they had last year, really all you can do is add people.
Right.
So they added Kelly Oubre and Larry Nance Jr. Kind of threw them out of the pictures and the losses for the other teams. I guess I'll give them like a C+ for this because these guys are just like rotational players.
Yeah.
Nothing going to really contribute to them. So yeah, I honestly think there's not a lot to talk about the Pacers. We'll see what happens. You have Zubac now. You have Tyrese coming
Yeah.
back fully healthy. Yeah, unless there's anything else you want to add on to that.
Not
Yeah.
landing that pick in the lottery
Killed them.
really, really hurts
Yeah.
for them. Like,
You would have had. I mean, what? What were the Clippers? The 5th pick?
yeah, so they would have had
A guy to play along with Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, unless you want Nembhard.
right. I mean, and I don't know who they would have selected, but it's still a top prospect in this crazy deep
Mhm.
class. So yeah, that's rough, and they've made no moves. So
Yeah, exactly.
C+,
so yeah, I
sure.
think C maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll keep it around there.
Yeah. My next team I have is the Lakers. I'm also giving them a B. It's a decent turnout of this LeBron era. You lose LeBron, obviously. Rui, Luke Kennard, DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart. But you bring in Walker Kessler, Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, Mamu, Jaden Hardy, Zaire Williams, I added yesterday, and Kevin Looney. So like, it's an all right upgrade, like all around. And I feel like they also dumped too many assets into that Walker Kessler deal.
Yeah,
That's where I feel like I'm not giving them as much credit. And I also feel like they should have definitely salary matched Luke Kennard. I wasn't a fan of letting him walk.
really.
Either. Yeah, he was phenomenal.
He
in
was
the
low key.
playoffs.
He
I mean,
was, but wait, how old is Luke Kennard? Isn't he like 28?
I don't know. I'll
Speaking
figure it
of-
out. But he signed it wasn't crazy. It was a 3-year, $19 million deal in Phoenix. He went and just got.
Well, speaking of Luke Kennard, do you think he's in that secret shooting club? Have you seen the video on that?
No, what?
There's like a conspiracy theory that there's a secret like shooting club where all these guys go to like this shooting camp, and this is why they can all make these threes. Like Duncan Robinson, AJ Green,
all these white guys.
Apparently, that's like Cormac Ryan was there. Apparently,
if this is real, he would be there without a doubt. So, yeah, Lakers be slightly pretty good. Could have been better. That's where I stand. So
I agree. All right. Well, that moves us on to the Atlanta Hawks. And I mean, the only thing you've lost during this offseason was 2 second rounders that you traded away for Aaron Wiggins, who again was on a championship level roster playing, rotational minutes. You also add Kingston Flemings in the draft, trying to be that Trae Young replacement in Atlanta to play alongside Johnson. And then you get Devin Carter and then 1 second rounder. I think the Hawks did a very good job in this offseason so far. I mean, Devin Carter's kind of not going to really be anything. He's supposed to be a guy out of Providence. Nothing really has come out of that. But yeah, I'm really excited for Flemings. I think that the Hawks, I mean, I don't know. I think the Hawks I think they'll be a play-in team this year. And I'll kind of leave it at that. So I was going to originally give them an A. I'm going to drop it down to a B+ though.
yeah, I feel like the move that they did make is okay. I don't know any other additions off the top of my head, but like you said, I feel like a lot of the teams in the East are improving, where they have been relatively stagnant. So yeah, could have done more, but I mean, their team is young; they're gonna get better, so they didn't need a whole lot to do. So
yeah, so far so good though for the Hawks.
Yeah,
so yeah, B+.
checks out. My next team, I got the Clippers. I'm giving them a B-, because I personally think they would have been better off keeping Kawhi, but the trade that they made, I think they got the better end of the deal.
I agree.
They still need a center because Brook Lopez isn't going to cut it. So yeah, that needs to be filled. You draft Keaton Wagler. You signed Rui as well, so you got some more shooting in there. That's not anything crazy,
the
but
only like iffy guy I am in the lottery. I'm just like, or I guess the top 10 lottery.
Yes, I agree. I think that's where I bring them down a little as well. I think out of any pick to not land, not saying that he won't, it would be him though.
He's just so young, and yes, he's talented, but he's just a really young player where it's like this has to be a home run hit, otherwise a lot of fans are going to be like, because I guarantee Darius Scott Jr. will be an all-star in the next 5 years.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's my prediction.
We'll have to see. Could happen. I
Prediction,
mean, like
prediction,
the
yeah.
Kings will have nobody, so if they were to, it would be him.
Yeah.
Possible. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But yeah, no, I think that the Clippers, again, I mean, good for them getting rid of James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just gonna have a whole short of me hating on James Harden.
No, that's gonna be great content because you went for a little bit.
I did,
So-
low-key, I did. But yeah, you good talking about anything else on that? Clippers?
Were we? Oh, the Clippers, right? Nah, because they won't do anything, so it's fine. We can move.
All right. Well, this one's gonna be short again. The Orlando Magic. I give them a C. I mean, you bring back an old Nikola Vucevic, which is kind of cool. Seeing a little bit of a oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. Reunion.
Renoonan.
No,
Yeah,
Reunion.
sure.
Reunion. Yeah, cool. You get it. Anyways,
I don't think you've gotten it once yet. Actually,
no, I don't think I so either. We're just gonna move on.
Sure,
Actually, and,
works.
yeah, skip over that. We're gonna drop. Well, they ended up dropping Mo Wagner or getting rid of. Where he signed over for the other team that he went to, which was the Nets. Yes, he left for the Nets. So yeah, it's an upgrade. So sad that the Wagner brothers aren't going to play together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I don't think Mo's really recovered from the headbutt from Giannis. So yeah, for that we're gonna give him a C.
Yeah, the Magic, they stink, man. And I get they're kind of all in move. Like I said, maybe it depends what cut we get of this now.
Yeah.
Could have done more. They're never really active in the off season, and so not super like out of the ordinary for them to do nothing, but they should be doing something. And
yeah, they should. Honestly, I mean, you would think that after trading for Desmond Bain, you're going all in, trying to win a championship, and then the season you had last year, and with all the injuries, and then this offseason, it's just like, okay, I really don't know what's going on. But yeah, so that's the Magic for you.
Mid.
Yeah, pretty much.
Next, I got the Phoenix Suns. I'm giving them a C minus for this generational, once again, Matt Ishbia brain fart. They traded for Miles Bridges, which is just a gigantic L. And then they also traded away their two best shooters, which makes no sense to me. Like catch and shoot 3-point shooters, obviously D-Book is going to clear all of them. That being Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, I'll give them names.
Does this eventually lead to the departure of Devin Booker? You think?
It definitely could, because this feels very similar to us trading for Kuzma. Like it seems really, really desperate in an attempt to try and get some talent and some size in where they did need to improve there, which is why I'm not any harsher on this than I am, but it just seems like something really desperate to go out and do that is going to result in nothing, which I think very possibly could lead in an eventual.
Yeah, and I feel like one of your problems that you had was that I felt like every Suns game I was watching, playing poker on Tuesday nights with the boys was Jordan Goodwin, just playing pretty much 36 minutes of the game, which didn't happen, but it felt like he was on the court the whole time. Like it's just you can't have that, and I feel like there's no key pieces. Jalen Green, I just don't think is the answer to go with Booker. I think Green would fit much better on a different team where you can actually shoot more, and I think Booker being the number one option just doesn't work well with Green.
He needs a real point guard.
Yes, exactly. Which Chris Paul was amazing for.
Yep.
So how are you going to be able to replace that? I'm not saying you got to get exactly a mirror image of Chris Paul.
Right, because that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Have like
one of the best passers of all
point
time.
Guard who can run an offense next to Devin Booker is what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't landed that since they had Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And look how well it worked, right? So
it hasn't. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna move on to the Hornets. I give them a D+.
What?
Yes, bro.
What?
Yes, man. D+. I think Heinz Steinbach. The more and more I looked into him, I don't like that pick. Naz Reid was probably the best thing they've gotten in the offseason. But yet again, is he going to fit well with their team they have right now? I think he's an upgrade over Bridges. Yeah, I'll give him that. But I just have a weird feeling he's not going to fit well with Knepel and what they got going on there in Charlotte. Grayson Allen, bench guy, he's gray area kind of player, especially now. Royce O'Neal, I just think he's there for literally just to sit on the bench. I really don't think he's going to put nice minutes for them. I don't. Are you a big Dorian Finney-Smith guy? Because I know you were talking about it before.
No.
Yeah,
I
okay.
I don't care.
We can push past
He's
that.
there. I feel like he is the guy who's just going to sit there and do nothing.
Yes. But I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these pieces, besides, I would say Reed and Steinbach are the only two guys that are like going to actually play good minutes for them. Then they got the draft picks, obviously for LaMelo. So, I mean, you get the 2 first-rounders, 6 second-rounders, and 3 first-round swaps. I mean, yeah, it's a haul drafting-wise. So, yeah, I think the future, this, grade could come back to haunt me in the future.
Yeah.
But I think right now, where you had your best season in how many years, and you get rid of Melo, you get rid of, Josh Green, Miles Bridges, and first-rounder and second-rounder, I just don't see the vision because it's like, okay, well, you just had your best year, and now you're getting rid of your best player. So.
See, and it is interesting. I think it's very bold that they went and did that. But I think, because I honestly thought that this was one of the better off seasons in the East. Maybe.
Really?
I did, yeah. It just sucks. It's unfortunate that they happened to just have their best season. But I feel like it was very clear before this year that they were open to getting rid of LaMelo Ball. And I had never been a fan of Miles Bridges. Not for off the court stuff. Obviously, we don't need to get into that. But just like on the court, I don't think he's very productive to winning basketball.
I think with this grade, what I'm trying to say is that there's definitely room for improvement on this grade easily.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not saying firm D plus. Like, this is gonna be the worst off season in Hornets history. I want them to prove me wrong. That's the one the thing I love talking about with grades is I just want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great. I'm leaving that door open, kind of like, okay, I'm giving you this grade. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, let me be the first to tell you they'll close it. I think it's very confident. They had to make a decision on where to go with their franchise, and it's clear that they believe in Brandon Miller and Colin Knippel in the future.
Okay.
I feel like with all of the bench pieces that you rattled off and Naz Reid, this is a better, I think in my eyes, more rounded roster than last year. I feel like a lot of their guards outside of Kobe White, like you would be seeing like Liam McNeely minutes in the regular season. Like they were really, really shallow there, which shouldn't have to be happening, especially if now they feel like they can compete.
Yeah.
Kind of compete after last season. And the picks as well, like if they are better in the future, I think that's just going to be great for making trades and to have those assets. So that's my stance. I can see where you're coming from. I've heard other people be relatively negative on what they've done as well. So it checks out. But
again, yeah, Liam McNeely has been playing great in the summer league too. So I mean, I mean, like I said, definitely. I feel like out of all the grades I've given so far, this is the grade where I'm like, I'm okay with this going from a D plus to a B plus. Honestly, like I'm willing to bank on that too, where it could take that jump, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah. Your next team then?
We got 2 each left, I think, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get moving because I need to go. The Warriors, this was what I was talking about earlier. I gave them an F2. This is a crazy disservice to fans, I think, all over the NBA. And not enough people are outraged by how awful they are. All they did was draft Yaxel.
He's looked promising, but he's also 24 years old. I expect him to be.
For that to be your only move with Stephen Curry rostered on your team is just terrible. And they've been like the Nuggets too. I feel like everything that they have done since the championship hasn't been an improvement. And to have a crazy talent like this, it sucks, and they suck. And no.
Does anything change if they get LeBron?
Yeah, I don't think I would go any higher than a C or C plus because it's still like they have done nothing else, and just slotting for Uncle LeBron into the lineup that's not gonna move me any higher than the 9 or 10 seed where they were this year.
No, I agree.
I really don't think so.
No.
So
I like that for sure.
Like when they were floating around LeBron and AD, that would be a lot better, but just LeBron is not nearly enough. I don't think.
And I think at the end of the day, I just think I have the hunch that LeBron's going to go back to Cleveland. I don't know why. That's just kind of why we're waiting on Harden and all that. So yeah,
Hopefully, that's my pick.
yeah,
This would be last option possible for me.
no,
but-
easily. But yeah, with that we can move on to the Miami Heat. I was really kind of tough on this one. This one was like, okay, yeah, you got Giannis, you got Bobby Portis, and you bring in Tim Hardaway Jr. But again, you lose a lot of your young pieces. You lose a lot of those draft picks. You lose a guy that was supposed to come back and be a good, wing for Giannis to have in Norman Powell, and you replace him with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Giannis he hasn't even signed his contract extension yet. This is just a big question mark. I feel like they gotta bring in more right now. I gotta give them a B-.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's Milwaukee with palm trees.
Yeah.
The same scenario.
It is. It realistically is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I brought it up to you. I'm like, what if Giannis, ends up not signing the extension, comes right back to Milwaukee? I mean, you can't put that out of the possibilities. Yeah, that'd be absolutely insane if it did, or even if he left
would be
for a different team. But you get what I mean.
right. I think it's plausible that he doesn't end his career in Miami.
Yeah, I feel like this is a tough decision to make for the Heat. And again, you're paying Jovic whatever his fucking contract was. Bullshit. Like, the Heat and Pat Riley, they need to do something that's like, I'm ready to win a championship, and they just haven't done that.
Right. Obviously, props to Miami, because I feel like the last few years it's always been what huge star are they going to get in the building? And
that is true.
So now that you are doing that, way to go.
Exactly.
But you have no team.
And it's just,
around
I haven't seen excitement from Giannis. I feel like Bobby Portis has been more excited about going to Miami than Giannis. You saw was it on, whose stream was it? Neons, right?
Maybe, I think.
Yeah, it was Neons, and it was literally like, oh, I just got traded. Like, yeah, you've been in Milwaukee forever, but you usually see, if people are media trained, Giannis is obviously media trained. You saw the difference from him talking when he was a little boy compared to now. There's something off about this that I just can't see through the lenses quite yet.
His team is bummed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's tough.
I had something to say, and I don't remember now.
It's all good.
Whatever.
Yeah,
is what it is. We can move, but yeah, they'll be interesting. Yeah.
Last team each.
Yep. And mine's quick. I have the Kings. I'm giving them a D. D for Darius Acuff.
That's the only thing that puts them over an F.
They did that. They waived DeMar DeRozan, which I guess those are both kind of good moves because he was eating cap and not doing anything. But you guys are still going to be the 15 seed again. So, and you haven't made a move, like I said. You drafted Acuff. So
light the beam.
No, it sucks that they're the beam team because that is like a really cool concept, and
awesome.
For them to never.
I will never forget that 1 year.
Use it. No, I won't ever.
It was amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Short-lived. But, you are the Kings, so whatever.
All right. Well, with that,
wrap us up.
Last team, we got the Wizards. I think the Wizards are pushing for a playoff spot now at this point. They're going to keep AD. They obviously re-signed Trae Young. They've got AJ DeBonsta. They brought in DeAndre Ayton, Chris Middleton.
Mm-hmm.
I give them a B+ because they want to go for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
So I respect that. 100% I do. They get rid of Jaden Hardy. He was part of the Mavericks for a while. Then obviously got traded over here. D'Angelo Russell also got traded away. You lose 3 second-rounders, which whatever, and then 1 pick swap.
Any move where you move off of D'Lo is a good move.
Yeah, so I think with the Wizards, for the first time, again, like the Bulls, really good offseason here.
Yeah, and it's good because you're obviously not winning a championship team.
No.
A championship with this roster, but it is excitement in the doors that they haven't had in a long time.
Who knows? AD could be fully healthy for whatever, and Trae Young goes back to his 2021 Hawks days.
See, you can't say that without smiling. That's how I know there's just no chance of either of those happening.
Shut up. I want to be hopeful.
I do too.
And Chris Middleton's going to go back to, mid-range, Chris Middleton.
If we could put prime Trae Young, Chris Middleton, Anthony Davis all together on this team.
Lord have mercy.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would shake up the East. They would be better than a couple of teams here, for sure. Better than us.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
that'll
anything else?
no. Teams who suck, get your shit together.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
we're done here.
Yeah, we are.
Time for the dentist, so I gotta get a move on.
Get the teeth shining clean. But yeah, once again, I was Brett McNamara. Alongside me was Killian McNulty. This is M&M Sports, and we will see you next time on the channel.
Bye.